Hey guys, Fuchsia here. I've done a few collab videos recently. Today we're going back to another deck and gameplay video. So recently, people have been asking me to do a dragon deck for a while, and to be honest, I really wanted to play the Scar Dragon because that's really viable in the meta right now. But I don't quite have enough legendaries, and I didn't want to spend all my vials crafting legendaries for just one deck, because I basically have none of the 9 legendaries needed. So I just looked through Twitter, and what do you know? Mint Candy, a pro player from team, I forgot which team he's from. I think it's team Revelation, yeah. So Mint Candy from Team Revelation just posted this on Twitter after I asked him about a dragon deck. And yeah, I thought like, okay, Natura Dragon, is it still good? Because a lot of people were saying before the expansion started, like, oh, Natura Dragon's just gonna be tier 1 again. But it didn't end up like that, obviously. So yeah, I tried a few games with it, and I didn't have much time recently, so I didn't play too many games with it, but it's actually pretty decent for me. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoy the games, and then we'll talk more about the deck afterwards. Bye. Okay, so against Shadowcraft, which is typical. I think Shadow is very common now. Shadow and Rune. When I tried this deck, I literally could not get any matches against anything but Shadow. So, there's something. But either way, I just wanted to test if this deck was still viable even against the top decks. And Shadowcraft is a top deck. There's like a few variations. One of them using PTP and another using like a more mid-rangey style with more face damage, I think. But yeah, so what do you want to do as Dragon, of course? Also, this is the PTP variant, I think. But yeah, as Dragon, you just want to ramp. So how you can catch up in this meta, I think, as Natura Dragon is that you have to get, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as before. You have to, 1, ramp hard so you can natural all machinas early, and 2, you have to use that tempo to play Valdane and Nature and the Corrosion kind of early too. Now you can also put in Dark Prison Dragon here for more burst, but the actual reason why I like Mint Candy's list is because he didn't use any of the legendaries that I didn't have except like 1 Plesiosaur, which I just put in. I just crafted because it's a good card. So this is actually a more traditional naturalist with a few add-ons because, of course, it lasts a few cards. Either way, though, this is a typical Shadow early game. That's a pretty good roll. And yeah, they're just making here shadows for Hades later on. So yeah, so they handled that pretty easily, but now look at this. So they have a big board, sure, but they don't have that big of a swing. Of course, this is where the grain of salt comes in, because obviously if they had Sarkistan, Clustered Sarkistan, then obviously this would be a completely different story. But since they don't have one, I can just do this. And by the way, this is the new addition to the deck. Very unique Dragonitron. It's not the best card, to be honest, but it is extra face damage, and it gives extra damage to another follower if it sticks. Plus, it's a Machina card, so you can just use it for fodder for Machinas. And the good thing about the Steelstorm Dragonute is that it also gives Machinas Evo, so I could deal with that board. Of course, Fioran comes out. Here's the Clustered Sarkistan. So they're back to 20. Typical. I think this is more of a hybrid, the mid-rangey tools and also PTP. At least I think it has PTP, because why else would you run Grimoire? Either way though, this is pretty simple to clear, but I just wanted to have the optimum play here. So I just wanted to maximize face damage as much as possible. So I just played as many trees as I could. We're not that vulnerable, we're at 17. I just evoed the Desert Pathfinder to get an extra tree. And evo past that, and here's where the Dragonatron comes in. There's an extra 4 damage basically, pretty good. Then 5 damage extra on top of that, pretty nice. There's another Firan, and it's pretty easy to clear my board. And here's where I get a bit confused, because why would you run this in a more PTP deck, unless this isn't PTP? But either way though, it doesn't really matter, because, well, first I heal because like I didn't want to die and I didn't want to lose that heal. But then again, we have this, everyone's favorite card, Natura Dragoncraft. So yeah, just fuse everything, exact 6 damage. They leave these on board so I can still do face damage. This is pretty good too. I tricked both of them in because I didn't really have any other option. So I'm a bit worried, but 14 is not too bad. And 7 damage to your face, so. At this point, I'm a bit worried about Hades, but not that much. They could Hades twice here, and that would kill me. That was what I was worried for. Especially with this Legendary Skeleton. Theoretically, they could Hades me the second time, and then I would lose, because that's 12 damage. And in hindsight, they were probably digging for it. But fortunately for me, it doesn't really happen, so they just give up. So yeah, Natura Dragon, winning against a top tier deck. Crazy. Okay, so this is the second game, and as I said, I could not avoid Shadow in ranked. So here we are playing against Shadow again. Sorry if my voice sounds kind of sore, by the way. I haven't drank them water today. Either way though, just mulligan all of this. Don't really need it. Here's what you want. You want your Valdanes, you want your Nams, you want your Ramp. It's typical Namdane. Just Namdane things. So I'm pretty happy here, got some Ramp. And at this point, I was also, this is actually running the more traditional mid-rangey Burial Rite package. So at this point, I'm just thinking like, okay, maybe I just really high rolled the last match. Let's just see how many matches I can win with this deck. But actually, it's going pretty well actually for us right now. Although their amount of draw and Burial Rite is pretty frightening. But you know what, I don't care, I just want to ramp and draw. Play the Ramp Bird on 3. Typical Namdane. And we both have the Valdane and the Natural Machinist. Pretty good. Just play this on 4, which is kind of eh. So I play Valdane here. Just so that next turn, if I needed to, I could play another Valdane and then like have the 0 play point Shadow's Corrosion and the 2 play point Shadow's Corrosion. Well, I guess it would be a 0 play point and a 2 play point one. So one of them I can use to activate Shadow's Corrosion, and the other one I could just use to like clear. So yeah. I think really the crux of this is that if they don't play Cloistered on 2, you can, and you ramp, it's pretty good odds with this actually. Like, it's not an inherently bad deck, I think, in this meta even. It's just that when you don't high roll, I think, and they do high roll, or they do like a pretty good roll, you're pretty screwed. I think that's the reason. So yeah, either way, going back to the game, it looks like they're going for a Smork because traditionally, the way you defeat Natura Dragon is like to kill them before they go off. But here, I'm already on my Nam turn, even though it's just 4, but they only have 4 play point followers anyways, so it doesn't really matter. So I just cleared the Aisha here, I think, because of the Bane. And then draw a bunch of cards. Pretty lucky to get Steel Storm here. Velociraptor, just to add that Namdane click. And I think they're really desperate to just aggro me down here. I think part of it, honestly, goes down to like complacency. Like, oh, it's Natura Dragon. It's not that meta anymore. So they just think like, oh, I just need to like out-tempo him and out-tempo her and like go face. But I have a ward and I have a big board, so they just give up. Yeah, so 2 wins in a row, pretty good. Alright, so I just wanted to be fair here because, well, it's another Shadowcraft. Wow, surprise, surprise. But yeah, just so people don't mistake me and think that I'm saying Natura Dragon is like top tier in the meta. I really don't think it is, because of this one game. Now, as you will see later, I could have actually won this game, maybe. And it was actually fairly close, but you'll see why sometimes it's very hard to win with Natura Dragon. Okay, so I get the Feral Ether, and I have the ramp. So what you need is Veldane and the ramp. If you don't have... Also, so they have the Hyrule, Cloister Sacristan on 2, and we have the Dragon Oracle on 2. So far so good. Here we go. I get the Rampart. Top deck. I'm very lucky. I think I drew the Machinas from this too. Or something. Oh no, I just drew another ramp. Either way, they can't kill the bird. So they kill it themselves. And they do more Shadowcraft things. Pretty typical Shadowcraft stuff. Now I think here's where I made a mistake. I should not have played this and ramped. I should have played Veldane and then activated the Shadow's Corrosion because there's nothing on their board. Like even like the difference is that even if so I drew the natural Machinas here, but I could have still Machinist on 7 the next turn, and I would have had like Shadow's Corrosion active. So that's where my mistake was, I think, in this game. And it'll bite me in the butt later. We'll see. So basically, if I had Veldane here, there would actually be absolutely no difference. Except I would ramp 1 less, which, as I said, doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I mean. So at this point, I have to fuse the Veldane. Just because I need to, well, I didn't need to. I think that's another mistake I made. Just because I haven't played this deck in such a long time. I gambled on like 1 play point Veldane, and that didn't turn out well. I did get a lot of trees and got to play some of them, but like, it's really not worth it, in my opinion. Like, just look at this. It's pretty weak. Like, if I had Shadow's Corrosion behind this, this would be actually pretty okay because then the damage would be keeping on ticking, and I would have like massive damage next turn. So yeah, actually, I wanted to show this game just to show like how Natura Dragon is still not that great, but actually it's more that I misplayed a lot. So maybe it is that great. I don't know. Well, I don't think so. Like, maybe against Shadow, it's pretty good. Either way, though, you know what I'm gonna do here. So I'm just gonna fast forward a bit. Because, you know, tree, draw. I got the Veldane in the end. So in the end, I did get it ticking. And I healed a bit. I don't know if I should have I don't know if I should have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have. To be honest, maybe I shouldn't have. Either way though, they do this. And they basically threaten me with lethal from the face. And this is the problem when you're Dragoncraft. This is the weakness of Dragoncraft, of like, not Dragoncraft in general, but more like Natura Dragoncraft in this meta. How can you deal with this board? You don't have any board clear. Like, the only board clear I have in this deck is Rolla, and she only does 2 damage on turn 7, which can't even be reduced, so that's the reason. So I just wanted to like dig myself so many trees here, just hoping to God that there are trees, but it didn't happen, and so I ended up losing. So yeah, maybe it's because I misplayed a lot, but maybe it's also because it's bad. It's not that good. Okay guys, so those were the games. I actually played a 4th game with this deck just because I wanted to have like, okay, can this deck win like 3 games out of 4 at least? And I won! But I didn't show in the video because like, it's the same thing, like, it's Natura Dragon. Do you really want to see that many games of it? But either way though, it's actually pretty okay. It's actually pretty... I won't say it's top tier, I won't even say it's like tier 2, maybe it's tier 3 or something. It's okay versus Shadow that doesn't cluster Tarkistan on 2. So I think I just got really lucky with this, but it's not like I super high rolled either. Like, it's not like they super bricked or I super high rolled. So I think it's actually pretty okay to use as like a dragon deck for quests on ranked and stuff. So it's not like garbage or anything. It's definitely not top tier though. If you want any proof of that, like, against other decks, I don't think this is that great. I only tested against Shadowcraft just because that's the only class I faced on rank today. Whoa, such a surprise. But yeah, if I think Ignitius also did a video about Natura Dragon recently. It's not the same list as this, but yeah, he did not have the same luck, so I'll link that video in the description. But yeah, that just goes to show you that it's not quite an amazing deck. It's not, as he put it, like the secret sauce, but it's pretty okay. I think it's not garbage. Surprisingly enough, like I had a pretty good time with it. Like, it's pretty okay. Like, sometimes you get a 3-point Viridian Magna, and it's pretty good to clear. And Natural Machinus is Natural Machinus. And I think the only key difference is that you have to get Valdane Seeking really early, because you have to get that Curse Lethal a lot earlier. And that's why and maybe you want to add Dark Prison Dragons and stuff just for burst, because right now, like, there's so much healing and stuff that you have to burst high if you're going for like this game plan. I think that's the only difference, maybe. Whereas maybe in World Upgrader or something, you can afford to be a little bit more patient with a Natura Dragon, I think, maybe, and even overwhelm with board, because you will not overwhelm with board unless they're really breaking. Or they're unlucky and you're lucky with this deck, because it's just not as good of a board class as like Sword, Rally Sword, or like even the mid-range version of like Burial Light Shadow. So yeah, either way guys, is this the return of Natura Dragon? Is it still okay? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, full credit for Mint Candy for this deck. The Twitter link for this deck will be put in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you love this video, give me a sub. And like always, have a nice day.